Even if, at the end of the day, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors and tricks, if the player doesn't notice that the enemies are just acting randomly, then your AI is a success. Games like Fear, again, used a lot of clever tricks to make you think the enemy is smart. They're programmed to spread out around the environment so it feels like they're trying to surround you, with behaviors to make them more aggressive or stay back. When one enemy acts, another one does a call out to give the illusion that they're working together, when really it's just each soldier acting alone, and the barks just get transferred over to another guy. Simple stuff, but it makes the game so much more fun to engage with, and it's something you rarely see done in modern games. The fire of reactive enemy AI is still burning in some games though, like Sulaco, which very much feels like an indie Fear and is one of the best shooters of 2024. So the dream of good enemy AI isn't dead, it's just technology has evolved, it's been deprioritized, and some game enemies now are technically way more smarter, there's way more technology involved, but it still just doesn't feel like it used to. Next over at number 7, hey, remember when action games had gigantic move lists that you used maybe like 10% of, but it was cool anyway? We miss that. Now everything is often just so optimized and carefully balanced, and it feels like everything you do needs to serve a specific gameplay function or it's not in the game. Compare like Marvel's Spider-Man 2 to the movie game Spider-Man 2. In the old game, you could do all kinds of goofy stuff, like web bad guys to lamp poles or power up your attacks with web fists, while the new game doesn't really have any secondary little abilities like that. Everything is tightly designed to serve a very specific function. The original Dead Rising was full of goofy moves that just didn't need to be there, but they were fun. You could do like suplexes or rip zombies' guts out with a super punch. The game had this huge move list that most people probably never even really bothered with because there's no point and the game is very stressful. Any weapon you found would typically be more effective, so all this stuff was mostly just for fun. Hulk Ultimate Destruction, Prototype, all these games had totally unnecessary moves that just made the game more interesting. And we wish more modern games would allow themselves to get silly like this, you know? I know some people might think that like unlocking abilities like this is a beginner's trap, or it's like bloating the game or something, but to us, it just makes these types of games more interesting and varied and a little weird. It allows us more opportunities to put ourselves into the game and just do whatever we want in it. So like, do you need to be able to use a car as a sled in the Hulk games? No, but the game wouldn't be nearly as good without a bunch of weird abilities like that. Now at number 6, remember when every multiplayer game had server browsers, like even console games? Yeah, it wasn't like the most convenient way to play a game. It is nice that now you can just turn on a game and immediately jump into a match if you want, but the loss of player server browsers and custom servers in general in the online space feels like a net negative to us. I know some games, they still have them, they're still around, they're not extinct, but it's just not as common now. There are a lot of benefits to having proper player-run servers. These things often had server admins who would keep the peace and have the power to kick bad actors. Servers led to players developing friendships and close bonds, and through that, there was like a social contract to follow. Players were dealing with other players rather than like nameless, faceless server administrators, so there was a lot more of a concerted effort of a game's community to police itself. It wasn't a perfect system, it was pretty messy sometimes, but it's a system that we can't help but miss. I mean, people were more inclined to play these games for fun when there was no skill-based matchmaking. There was no persistent stats, no kill-death ratio to worry about, or a battle pass to grind through. You were just going online to play multiplayer for the fun of it. Now, I know we're getting a little off track from the server browser thing, but stick with me. Let's just say this is a catch-all for old-school multiplayer shooters. They used to be so much simpler than they are now. There have been a lot of improvements. I mean, I can't deny that it's satisfying when you level up and unlock stuff in a multiplayer game, but there's something to be said for the simple pleasures of old-school shooters. Next, over at number 5, for a while, it felt like everything was giving you like a party that you